Oh, you're on camera. Look at you. Oh, you're muted.
Oops. It's still a little swollen, but not as bad.
Oh, you can't tell. You really can't.
Oh, good.
Unless you pointed it out to me, I'd have no idea. You don't know who a Bruce McDaniel is, do you?
No.
Cool. I just wanted to make sure. He joined even before I did. And so
Wow. Wow. That's crazy.
eager beaver over here.
Yeah, yes.
But yes, no, it looks yeah, you wouldn't tell on your eye. How are you feeling?
Yeah, great.
Good.
No, yeah, it's fine. It just itches a little bit.
Sure.
I want to just go at it, but hey, I can't. I'll just make it worse.
Yeah. I did want to let you know that we did have Modesto City Council register tonight.
Oh, good.
And so I that's what they're named under. And so I always, anytime there's like a council or like anyone that's like named an elected official or something, I always like to let you know. But
Yeah.
just in case you see them in there, it just looks like it might be a general account. I don't know who
Right.
they can
Oh,
identify themselves,
it probably is.
but
Hi, Sophie.
Regina, how are you doing?
Okay, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good.
the last one for right now.
Yeah. Are you happy about that, Sophie?
It hasn't been too bad. I know, because I was out the last 2 weeks,
Oh,
so
okay.
I haven't had
Yeah,
to
you got
attend to
lucky.
many. I did.
That's good.
No, it hasn't been too bad. That's for sure.
No,
Once we get rolling.
It's good fun. Yeah. Good comments coming in, which is really great. That's what we're after.
I still think that one
Yeah.
meeting with the chat box that was super active is still one of the more active chats that I've had on just like a general, hey, give us your improvement question.
Yeah.
It's
Fresno. That was a Fresno.
going there for quite a while, which was nice. But
Yeah, that was Fresno. So that was really good.
yeah, that was good. We had it was nice to have like a really robust, but I think each one of them has had unique
Yeah.
conversations and really good feedback. It was funny to see Martha in there last night. I've done a lot of work with Martha's organization
Oh,
down
okay.
in Stockton.
We figured that was the case. Yeah.
Yeah, so because she had started to private when I saw her hand up, I messaged her and I just acknowledged the hand being up, and I was like, hey, I just want to let you know I see it. When we get to a break, I'll make sure that we get it. And then we started talking back, and she couldn't figure out how to get back to the chat. So she started to chat with me, and I could tell that she was like giving improvements. And I was like, yeah, Martha, do you want this on the, and she just kept on doing it. And so that's when she was like, I don't know how to get it back.
It doesn't matter how we get it. It doesn't matter how we get it, as long as we get it.
But she represents Catholic Charities out of Stockton. And so we've done a lot of work both in Stockton and some in their unincorporated areas. And she really is helpful with a lot of the outreach and to get the community members. And so she told me at the end that she'd be happy. And that's why I told Alec, she was like, I'd be happy to connect and like talk more if you guys need more feedback from this area. And I was like, can't hurt. And so Alec had messaged me and was like, I want to, and so that's why, but I'm glad. Yeah, she's always vocal and always has her community top of mind. And yeah, it was good to see her last night, at least in one of our 5 or 6 people on the call.
Yeah, we had 5 or 6, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how many we get tonight.
About the same.
Yeah, hopefully we do.
Number.
Hopefully we do. We'll see.
Here's Alec. All right, we'll get him in. Oh, let me make him a co-host. Sophie, where are you based out of?
So I'm in LA.
Oh, you're
not.
I can't keep track of you guys sometimes.
I know. Doug's in Hawaii, Seth's in San Diego, Brian's in New York.
Must be tough to be Doug, man. Must be tough.
I know, right?
Rough life. God, what am I doing? What am I doing? It's
Right?
there was a glitch in Apple weather map this morning, and it said to everybody in Sacramento that it's going to be 119 next Saturday, and that's what it so that's what it was showing. And I had it because as a staff we were looking at it this morning and we were like, this is it, like, is this a real thing? And I'll bring it up so you can see it because I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
But you can see where it says like 100, where does it say? Like 119. There was a glitch on the Apple app.
Oh, wow.
And so when we were looking this morning, we were like, it's going to be 119 next Saturday.
Well,
on
Fresno
4th of
says
July.
121.
Yeah, and so I guess there was like a little bit, so now it's readjusted itself, I think, down to
Oh,
like
that's good.
107, 108.
Okay. It's still very hot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am not 110 next Tuesday and Wednesday is 109, 110.
Yeah, it says 112 now. Before it said 121. So
wow.
we were thinking they got their two numbers mixed up at the
So
end.
I think we have to ask Doug about his real estate agent and who he's
Yes.
working with out in Hawaii and how we can all get out there.
Yeah. One time in Fresno when I was little, this is probably 1964, 65. It was 120. It was 120 something. And I went down to my friend's house, and I went to walk on the street and it just melted. The asphalt just melted.
Well,
It was the strangest thing ever.
and
Yeah.
we were trying to figure out with some
Wow.
of our paving. We have one of my staff members, a drone photographer, and he's supposed to be doing some drone footage of some of our paving projects that are happening. And he even asked me today, he's like, are they going to be even able to pave when it's 111 degrees out there?
It's just going to turn into soup.
Well, that's what he said. He's like, what happened? And I was like, that's a very practical question, Felix. I'm actually have no idea what actually happens because yeah, everything just becomes, it's just so hot. So hot. You know, I was talking to him, I have an old house here in Sacramento and it's about time for a new air conditioning unit. And every year I'm like, maybe I can do it, right? But it's gonna be fine this year. I think like this summer, some of these, it's starting really early for it to be this hot this early. Just playing with fire here.
Yeah, those air conditioning units are not cheap either.
No, and it's just like every year you're like, well, because it's also one of those old units too, so it's very good. Like it's once it works, like, and so you don't want to like it's fine, but like I just know it's old.
It's gonna go anytime.
Well, you just know, like you can only, but you can only put makeup on a pig for so long before it becomes a pig, and you just go but also I was talking to a friend of mine, I was like, but it still works like really well. So there's no reason to not use it other than just like, it is old and I need to be smart.
Well, ours are old and we have 3 units. So yeah, they told us it was going to be close to 65 grand to replace them. Craziness.
Yeah, it's a racket.
Yeah.
I'm in the wrong business, man. I should be in plumbing. I should be in I remember I come from New York, right? And there's so many like plumbers and landscapers and I have so many friends who own landscaping businesses and man, I'm in the wrong business. People are throwing buckets of cash at plumbers and landscapers and they love it. My friends love their jobs and they love what they do. But it's always so funny to me that I'm always like, oh, right. My brother, who's an anesthesiologist, I have friends who run snow trucks, plow trucks in New York and make 5 times the amount of my little brother and his anesthesiology.
Oh, that's crazy.
It's crazy. It's like my friends who do snow plows get the most, they make because it's all after hours and it's all nighttime work and it's
yeah,
all
sure.
overtime and
It's
it's
double
usually in
time.
a crunch and it's like, we need to
Right.
get this done right now. Just get it done until it's done. So they can charge and when you have like, it's like a racket there. And then I have a couple of other friends who have taken over landscaping businesses from their parents that, you know, have like that do a lot. They built, one of my friends builds decks. He loves it. He designs and builds decks. He makes more money than I know it even to do with.
Wow, yeah, they're expensive too. Yeah,
Yeah, and he's just like,
anything these
and if you
days. That's
go,
true.
and all of it's always funny because all my friends, every time I go home, have like crazy decks, and I'm like, what? Where did this come from? They're like, Osborne, the Freeborn Construction. Of course,
Wow,
they did it, and I was like, right.
hey, how nice.
But yeah, it was always funny to me when I left New Jersey and then saw a lot the different trades that people go into, and then I would just always remember, I'm like, oh right, or I could go drive a snowplow where my friend just listens to Led Zeppelin on repeat and plows snow. He like, and it's also like, you know, it's always fun to see people who really just enjoy their jobs, like
Right.
my friends who do that, so like they just really enjoy it. Or I was at an event, I think I told you a couple weeks ago, I was doing a ribbon cutting down in Manteca for a highway project, and we partnered with Caltrans, and they brought Sam the safety cone, and the guy, like, so there's a guy who works in District 3, I think, and they have now a cone outfit, and they send them to some of like the
Wow.
groundbreakings and the events,
Oh,
and it's like a
that's cool.
dancing cone that people can take the pictures with.
That's a
And like
great
you would
idea.
think a lot of people would think, man, you can't pay me enough money to go and get into that cone outfit and
Yeah,
down.
especially in the summer.
This is a like technical engineer for Caltrans.
Oh,
And I met
wow.
him and I was like, you are so like, you're so game to go in there. And the the funny thing is people don't think I like it. He goes, I love it. I enjoy he goes, they give me like $300 every time I go in it. I have the best time. No one knows who
Yeah,
I am. I get
that's
to
really
go
a
to
great
fun
idea.
events. I get to like dance around. And I was like, you know what? Good for you, man. Like good, like way to make the best of it. But yeah, so there's now like a safety Sam that's now being requested at all and the ribbon or the groundbreaking I'm doing in a couple of weeks. They just asked me, is Safety Sam coming? I was like, I will make sure. I will make sure.
Reminds me, we used to put out cones to get people to understand where the workshop was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we need to start doing that again. I've got those cones somewhere. We put up signs now, but maybe we could do both.
Let me show you this. This could be one of my favorite pictures I've ever taken in the history of my career. Let me see if I can get unblurred. Why am I blurred? Ah,
There
so
you
you
go.
see
Oh,
Safety
I see him.
Sam.
Yeah, I see him.
And that's the
That is-
mayor of Manteca. I can't even
That
do
is
it.
really great. It's a great
But
idea.
yeah, so it's, I can't even unblur myself. But yeah, it was really funny to see. But yeah, it was. And so we had like, you know, he was like running down this new highway
Yeah.
alignment with like the mayor of Manteca. And
How
we were doing like
cool.
these drone. It was really funny. It was really funny. And then like, you know, like most groundbreakings, the entire mayor wanted a big photo shoot. He had all his boys like walking down. And I was like,
Oh,
okay, good times.
nice.
Oh, here is one of our interpreters,
Tanya.
Tanya. Oh, let me make her a co-host.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, how are you?
Doing good, thank you. How about yourselves?
Good, good. So I'm waiting for the second one to join in. Once we do, y'all just let me know who wants to give the instructions and who wants to start in the room, and I'll get the room started for y'all.
Okay, yeah, it'll be Emilia. So when she joins, you can add me to the channel and she'll be giving instructions today.
So Amelia will be the one giving the instructions. Great.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Of course. Hi, Doug.
Hi, let's try that again.
You can do it.
Where are my glasses? That's the latest.
Last one, Doug. You can do it.
I know. I don't know what I'm going to do with my evenings going forward. or my late afternoons, but in evenings. I'll figure something out.
That's funny.
I know, I was trying to explain to my staff, they're like, do you have another one of those tonight? I was like, yep, still doing it. We're keeping it in.
Last one.
Keeping it in.
All right, I'm gonna go find my glasses.
Mm-mm.
Katie, I love that you got to take a picture with Safety Sam. I was listening to some of that earlier.
Oh, we had a good
Isn't that
time. We
cool?
had him running with the mayor of Manteca down the new McKinley Avenue alignment on 120. That was fun. I've got him hooked on to the SJCOG SR99 connector project when we do the groundbreaking next month down there. And it's just, it's just a fun thing to have.
Yeah.
Their whole thing's safety, right? They bring the safety van out. They want to make sure that people have the cone awareness out there. And so why not?
Yeah,
The
great
problem
idea.
is that now you have places like SJCOG that's like, can we get a dancing K for a measure K? Like, or can we get, and I'm like, no, we don't have like access to like dancing letters all the time. But it's also at things like a groundbreaking, it's always, it's about the pictures and the fun and the celebration of it as well. And so I'm sure it does well for their community events at schools and stuff
catches
like
the-
that, but
catches-
also good for people in suits and a big gold shovel or a big pair of scissors.
It catches their attention is what it does. It's great.
It's fun.
And it emphasizes safety.
Oh yeah. All right, here is Amelia. All right, let's get her in. Fantastic. All right. Hi, Amelia. Thanks for joining. So I'm going to start the channel right now with Tanya, you in the channel first. All right.
Yes, please. Yeah, she'll be giving instructions.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
And it looks like Tanya's been or is in the channel. So we're
Yep,
good.
I just started it up.
Awesome.
I'll add you after we do the instructions.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. One of my first jobs was at the American Heart Association, and I was 22 years old, and my boss gave me a heart outfit and told me to go to Charlottesville, Virginia to the Heart Walk and go dance at the Heart Walk. And I went, is this
No,
the world? Like,
really?
and I remember calling my parents and being like, is this what jobs are? Like, is this what and my parents and my dad was like, go pay your dues. Go pay
Your dues.
you can do it. And I'll never forget, like I literally drove like 2 hours away with this costume in the back of my car and was like, okay. And I danced around a Heart Walk and went back home. So, everyone takes their turn. You never know when it'll be your turn.
Right.
to be
My
putting on
first,
an
my
outfit.
turn, my first paying my dues was sitting out on Golden State Boulevard, taking the last 3 numbers off of license plates for about a week in the heat, 100 degrees.
Nice.
It was fun.
Nice.
So I
nice.
tell my employees, hey, it could be worse. You could be out there,
Yes.
on Golden State Boulevard, pulling
That
license
reminds-
plate numbers.
That reminds me of just who, and I'll remind Doug when he comes on. Just Alec, just let you know, we did have someone from the City Council of Modesto register. Always want to bring it to your all's attention if there's like a city council member, or I don't know who it is. They didn't identify themselves, but it did come up as you can. I don't know if you can see the waiting room, but it says City Council. So in case you're looking, it's from Modesto.
Okay, thanks, Katie. We actually have had electeds on this call in the past too. I think Robert Poitras was on the one for
Right.
Madera.
Madera Fresno,
So
uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah, and they ended up registering like as it was started. I was able to flag this one because they had registered, I think, last week from City Council. But yeah, it's nice to see them getting involved and seeing what's being presented and what people are saying about the corridor.
Absolutely.
And Alec, I'll make sure I connect you, last night, Martha. I've done a lot of work with Martha and Catholic Charities down in Stockton. What had happened was I saw her hand raised and I private messaged her to acknowledge, hi, Martha, Katie, I see your hand raised. As soon as we have a moment, we'll be able to, and then we couldn't figure out how to get her back into the main room. And so we started a conversation. As you could kind of see, she was giving me her answers, but she also, as always, is always open to a conversation or to chat further. She has a lot of community voices at her disposal. And as you can kind of hear, she's very passionate about representing her community. And so she represents a lot of the like underrepresented areas outside of Stockton and some of like the Garden Acres and Boggs Tract type areas that we've done some sustainable community plans in. And so I'm going to kind of reach out to her tomorrow just to kind of thank her. And I'll CC you on the email. And in case there's any further conversations to be had, I'm happy to help where I can.
Great. No, I have nothing but praise for how that was handled, because I don't have experience working with her, but I definitely felt that passion, and so we want to be responsive to that in any way that we can on the Caltrans side as well. So yeah, please keep me looped in on that. Sounds great.
And she is passionate in every sense of the word, in every project that we've worked with her on, from street improvements to school safety to highway. Like, she represents a lot of her community's voices, and it's nice when we are able to engage with the Catholic Charities and bring them to the table. And she is also feeds back to the community a lot, which is always nice. But yeah, trusted source over there. It was good to see her on the call. All right.
Is your eye feeling better, Georgina?
You're muted. You're muted.
Yeah, I was telling Katie earlier that I want to just scratch at it, but yeah, it's doing better. It's not as swollen and not a lot by a lot, but it's itching. So I just took an antihistamine right now. Hopefully it'll reduce that urge to just scratch my eye out. Crazy week.
Also, Doug, just an FYI, last night when Martha had raised her hand, what I did was I messaged her that, hey, I see your hand is raised. We'll have plenty of time at the end or when we get to a pause for question and answers. So you can call it. I'm available to like unmute her at any point, but just to let you know, I do communicate with them to acknowledge the hand being raised. So you don't have to feel like you have to stop or have to like rush. And sorry for not explaining that earlier, but also feel free that if there is only two people and someone raises their hand, if you just want to go, hey, let's just stop for a second. You have your hand raised. Let's answer your question. I'm more than available to jump in. Now you're muted. Come on, guys. We can do this. Last one, we got this.
Hey, what are all these buttons for? Yeah, I mean, it's funny that it didn't come up until the 7th meeting, to be frank, that somebody did that. Maybe Georgina, just to say like, hey, if you want to, if you have a question, you don't want to type it in the chat, like hopefully we can get to it at the end, because I will say I appreciated everything Martha said and a lot of what she said we got to, and then I wanted to have her input right in that last section because she had so many good observations and things to say. It's all a way of saying.
Yeah, and with only two people, or like if it's under like 5 people, sometimes it's like just if they have something to say,
Yeah,
let them just say it.
I
Because
do.
usually you're gonna have time at the end if there's only a few of them.
That's
If
right.
there's more than 5, don't worry about it.
Yeah, I did mention that there was a place in the presentation coming up where she was going to be able to give her, her opinions, her challenges and her, solutions. And then at the end as well, that she'd be able to, there likely would be time at the end.
Yeah, I just want to let you know, I acknowledge it with messaging in the chat.
Cool.
Just in case. But
it's just that we also had the Leadership Council on. And as Alec knows, they are notorious for going on and on for 15 minutes. So
Yeah.
I was just worried that if we let one in and then Ashley starts talking, we could be there for a whole half hour. Yeah. So
yeah, because we kind of had that Rob Ball experience.
yes.
Right. And but at least that happened at the end. So if folks were
right,
I just don't want to,
they could leave.
it's so easy to squeeze out quiet attendees when somebody gets on there and just starts like just
Right.
going. It's such a turnoff. So yeah, I appreciate the balance act, appreciate the approach. That sounds good.
And it's not that Ashley and others don't have good things to say, right, Doug?
That's
I mean,
right.
great things to say. It's just that we've got a presentation to get through and make sure we get all this information relayed to everybody else. So that's all.
All right, I'm going to let our 3 members in, and I guess we'll wait for the couple minutes in case anyone else joins.
We'll wait another couple of minutes to see if anyone else joins the session tonight.
Vamos a esperar otros cuantos minutos para esperar a ver si alguien más se une a la sesión de esta noche.
Okay, I think we'll go ahead and get started. Good evening, everyone. I'm Georgina Vivian with the RPA, a member of the outreach team. I'd like to first say thank you for attending tonight, attending this virtual event for the Merced, Stanislaus, and San Joaquin County subregion. This session is in regards to the Caltrans Comprehensive Multimodal Corridor Plan, or CMCP, focusing on, again, State Route 99. We will be recording this session tonight so that we can capture all of your great input as we move forward through the presentation. There'll be times during the presentation where you'll have opportunities to provide your critical input and be able to provide that in the chat room, as well as at the end of the presentation. We likely will have time at the end as well, and we'll be asking you to provide us with more ideas. Next slide, please. Today, we will be hosting the meeting with Spanish simultaneous interpretation. If you are a monolingual English speaker, no changes to your setup are needed. You can stay right where you're at. Amelia with Linguistica and the outreach team will now provide you with instructions to access the Spanish channel for those Spanish speakers who would like to hear tonight's event in Spanish. Amelia?
Thank you. Muy buenas tardes a todos. Bienvenidos a su junta. Como se ha mencionado, tendremos interpretación simultánea disponible en español. Si gusta disfrutar de la junta en español, entonces la función ya se ha aprendido. Si usted está utilizando una computadora, buscar el icono de un mundo que aparece abajo de su pantalla y de ahí va a seleccionar ese icono y luego seleccionar donde dice español. También los invitamos a silenciar el audio original. Si usted está utilizando un teléfono o una tableta, su proceso se mirará un poco diferente. Buscarán los 3 puntos en la pantalla que digan More o Más en español. Luego deslizarán arriba al menú de opciones hacia donde dice Interpretación. Con la nueva actualización debería de ver el icono de un mundo. Y de ahí usted seleccionará donde dice Español. Una vez más, silenciar el lado original. Y cuando han acabado, si ya han actualizado, solamente necesitan presionar en otro lugar en la pantalla. Pero si aún no han actualizado, probablemente les pida que seleccione listo, tono finalizar. Selecciónenlo para de esa manera poder escuchar en español. Muchas gracias. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Amelia. I would also like to review some other housekeeping issues. All attendees tonight will be muted during the session, and your video will be not available during the session as well. If you have a question during the presentation, please post your question or comment in the chat box, and we'll get to it as quickly as we can. We'll monitor those questions and those comments and present non-repetitive questions as they are added to the chat box when the presenter is able to answer them. There are several agencies and firms involved in preparing this important study: Caltrans Districts 6, 10, and 3, and members of the Jacobs Consulting Team, including Jacobs Transportation, VRPA Technologies, AIM Consulting, and Linguistica. All of us have traveled State Route 99 for our daily activities, whether we're commuting to work or we're accessing shopping or other services. I personally have traveled every day for 7 years, every workday, to downtown Fresno from Madera County. And I travel it now for work in northern and southern regions of California. Now it's your turn. It's your turn tonight to let us know how you use State Route 99. Help us learn and identify your challenges with the corridor as you travel it. And most importantly, help us identify potential solutions to address those challenges. At this point, I'd like to briefly review the agenda for the remainder of this hour-long event. We have a full agenda for the session tonight. Members of the study team will provide you with an introduction related to the planning process, and there will be polling questions throughout so that we can give you the opportunity to provide us with your input and your opinions related to State Route 99. We will provide you with some background information related to previous planning along the corridor and with some information related to current conditions. It will also be important for us to learn, as I just mentioned, your solutions or methods that could be used to address challenges along the corridor. Finally, we will identify the next steps in the planning process so that you can continue to be engaged as this study moves forward. Next slide, please. I will now turn the presentation over to Lynn O'Connor. She is the Office Chief of System Planning and Goods Movement with Caltrans District 10. Before you get started, Lynn, maybe you can provide some discussion about why you use State Route 99 and why it is important to you. Lynn?
Oh, Lynn, you're muted. Sorry, Lynn.
So sorry. Thank you. I've witnessed many changes on State Route 99 over the year. The transition from rural to urbanized has been the greatest change. Today's users are likely commuters and freight with some seasonal farm produce, primarily nuts, grapes, and stone fruits. While in the past, the route has transported a greater variety of locally grown crops. Our saucy off-ramps from the tomatoes for Tilly Lewis in Stockton, the ketchup factory in Tracy, and the canneries up and down the route. Sugar beets to Spreckles in Manteca, sticky pavement from the green chop trucks headed to the dairies in Turlock and Modesto, and stinky loads of Stockton Reds bound for processing are the produce stands. We may no longer have that variety of agricultural production, but we are an important source for the national and international agricultural market. So on behalf of Caltrans District 10, I'd like to welcome everyone to the initial round of virtual public workshops for the State Route 99 Comprehensive Multimodal Corridor Plan, or the CMCP. My name is Lynn O'Connor, and I am the Caltrans Corridor Planning Representative for District 10. The focus for this workshop is for State Route 99 in Caltrans District 10 through the counties of San Joaquin, Stanislaus, and Merced. We are committed to addressing the needs of the communities on the corridor, and we encourage you to share your ideas for what improvements on and along State Route 99 that would benefit your community. We look forward to hearing your thoughts and ideas for the CMCP. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Lynn. Next slide, please. So our first question for you tonight, we would like to get a sense of where you live or reside in relation to the State Route 99 corridor. So if you could provide your zip code and your city name in the chat box, that would be great. Salida. Thank you, Amanda. Bruce Modesto. And Nathan Turlock. Good sampling along the corridor. Anthony, another Modesto. Great, thank you. Okay, next slide, please. So our first polling question tonight, Katie DeMaio with AIM Consulting and the outreach team will now load the polling questions. The first question has to do with why do you use State Route 99 most often? The answers include to A, to commute to work, B, go to the store, C, reach services such as medical, D, get to school, E, to visit friends and family, F, for leisure purposes, and G, for other. If you do choose other or item G, if you could we'll give you a minute or so to provide your answers.
All right, looks like we have about half the people responded. We'll wait just for another few seconds.
Yes, yes. Let's get your answers in.
All right, looks like Nathan put it in the chat box. Let me share the results.
Great. So we have a three-way tie. Going to the store, reaching services such as medical services, and to visit family and friends. And then Doug, what do we have in the chat box?
Just Nathan clarifying that he uses it to commute to work.
Okay,
Thanks,
great.
Nathan.
Great. Okay, next slide, please. So we now will play a video that has been prepared to highlight the State Route 99 planning process. The video provides a good overview of the planning process, including schedule and next steps, and is very informative, so we hope you like it.
Caltrans is developing a comprehensive multimodal corridor plan, CMCP, for State Route 99, SR 99, from Bakersfield to Sacramento. SR 99 is crucial for goods movement and interregional connectivity. Although sections of SR 99 have been improved over the years, more work is needed to address growing safety, access, and traffic demands. The CMCP will guide future corridor decisions considering transportation trends, emerging technologies, community needs, and state and local policies. The planning area includes Caltrans Districts 3, 6, and 10, and 8 counties in coordination with their metropolitan planning organizations and transportation planning agencies, as well as local agencies and community partners. Caltrans has been planning for a cohesive SR 99 corridor since the early 2000s through Caltrans District's Transportation Concept Reports, California System Management Plans, and the SR 99 Business Plan. These efforts highlight multimodal opportunities for enhancing the SR 99 corridor. When complete, the SR 99 CMCP will carry forward the vision of these plans and reports. The Road Repair and Accountability Act of 2017, Senate Bill 1, established the Solutions for Congested Corridors program with an annual budget of approximately $250 million. This program funds projects that deliver specific, measurable performance improvements and align with comprehensive corridor plans. These projects can span state highways, local streets, public transit, rail facilities, cycling and pedestrian infrastructure, or necessary mitigation efforts. The CMCP will showcase agency coordination and robust analysis, enhancing the region's competitiveness for federal and state funding. Over the course of the next year, we will be looking not only to our partners and local agencies for input as we develop the CMCP, but also to you, the users of the corridor. We will be hosting a series of virtual events at key times during the planning process, both to inform you and to request your feedback. Virtual meetings will be held in each of the counties. Please join us to help identify priorities, concerns, and solutions that improve the SR 99 corridor and adjacent communities.
Great, we hope you like the video. Our next presenter is Doug Johnson. He's the Principal Transportation Planner with Jacobs Transportation. He will present information on the background planning process, existing conditions and challenges along State Route 99, and the identification of potential solutions to improve the corridor or to address those challenges. Doug?
Thanks, Georgina, and thanks again to everybody for being here tonight. We appreciate your time, and we'll try and make best use of it possible. When we think about starting this study, always important to reflect a little bit upon where we've been. The corridor has seen a series of plans, as noted in the video, that have guided those past improvements to current improvements that are underway, and those that are planned in the near term and for that next generation. The most recent activities on the corridor include Caltrans District 3, which is Sacramento County's managed lane study, including State Route 99, and the business plan update for State Route 99 and Summit, which was completed by Caltrans Districts 6 and 10. This is the first study of this type to include 3 distinct Caltrans districts covering almost 300 miles of State Route 99 from I-5 in the south to US 50 in downtown Sacramento. Next. The corridor, these 300 miles, knit together dozens of cities, 8 counties, 2 key portions of the Central Valley as well, and really recognizes the importance of this corridor to those who live and work and travel in this corridor, whether it's on State Route 99, on rail or using a parallel route as well. But the focus is certainly not just on Highway 99 as we seek to make these changes. We're looking to include a host of multimodal improvements along the corridor. In general, when we say multimodal, we're including, in addition to auto trips specifically for goods movement by rail or by truck, bus trips, bicycle and pedestrian trips, and future passenger rail improvements in the corridor as well. This planning process will also align and be integrated with recent plans, statewide plans, including, among others, the California Freight Mobility Plan, which names State Route 99 as one of the highest priority goods movement corridors in the state, as well as the California State Rail Plan, which, in addition to including the first phases of high-speed rails projects, also includes a host of improvements to rail service in the valley and to the connecting regions. Next. The process really boils down most simply to 4 key steps. In the first step, we seek to collect information to better understand the corridor you all know well, but also to understand the patterns and how they change from end to end. We then look to assess this information and look for potential opportunities, but also issues and challenges that communities and travelers are facing. We then are going to dig into and prepare a long list of solutions to try and close and tackle as many of those gaps as possible. And finally, to return with and conclude with an implementation plan that will make clear to the stakeholders and to the public what are our highest priority activities going to be coming out of this. And you can see at the bottom, we have 2 rounds of public workshops. So tonight actually represents the last of 8 public workshops we've done here in June. Looking forward, we will have another one at the point where we are looking to start to solidify our solutions and prepare for our implementation plan. And that'll be, we expect in January 2025. On the next slide, it's the same content, just translated. So we'll just stop here for a couple of seconds for folks to, our Spanish speakers to enjoy. In order to understand as we prepare for this plan and prepare for the idea of finding those long-term solutions, we need to understand what we are collectively aiming for. These goals have been drawn from a variety of local, city, county, and state transportation plans in the corridor, and really reflect a wide range of important issues that have been heard again and again. Top of mind, and something we hear about a lot along the corridor, is the importance of a safe system. And for Caltrans, that safety goal is specifically to eliminate fatalities and serious injuries on California's roadways by 2050, which is also known as Caltrans's Vision Zero by 2050. In addition to that, there's a number of measures that seek to improve public health outcomes, in part by advancing clean technology while improving air quality, to take better care of the existing infrastructure we have, which when traveling 99 these days, there's a number of major rehab projects underway, to grow transportation choices, especially for communities that rely on alternatives to driving, and also to support the Valley's economy. I'm going to hand it back to Georgina.
Great. Thank you, Doug. Katie, we're now ready for the next polling question. Please select which 2 goals are most important to you. 1, promote safe travel, maintain streets and highways. 2, support the Valley's economy, support affordable development. 3, promote equitable transportation investments. 4, prepare for climate change and advance clean technology. 5, improve air quality and improve public health. 6, reduce traffic congestion. Again, please pick 2 of the goals that are most important to you.
All right, let's leave this open for just a moment since we're asking for 2. Right now we have about almost.
Yes.
All right, I'll share the results.
Great. So it looks like we have a tie between promote safe travel and maintain streets and highways and reduce traffic congestion. And then we have another tie in second place that support the Valley's economy, support affordable development, and improve air quality and improve public health. Great. Thank you so much for your input. Next slide, please. Back to you, Doug, with current conditions.
Thanks, Georgina. I think in thinking about the the characteristics of this portion of State Route 99, one thing that stands out really strongly is the recent amount of population growth. Every county along the corridor has seen or exceeded 1% annual growth. We've seen Sacramento's population grow by over 350,000, while we've seen growth at a high level across the board as well. And looking forward, we see, especially in maybe the northern half of the corridor, anticipated future growth based on California's Department of Finance forecasts. Next. The job growth trend, looking back these past 20 plus years, is very similar, if not even stronger, seeing growth in some cases exceeding 40% change. What's different here is, though, we see much stronger growth when we are looking forward than we saw with the population growth, and we see it being much more uniform. This is going to continue to put high demands along with that population, past and planned population growth. It's going to continue to put demands on the transportation system for folks to meet their daily needs. And this is a key input to that. Another key input into all this is to really get to understand the different layers of the Valley's transportation system, starting with State Route 99. Next slide. We can see when we take a look at the corridor, again, from north to south, the number of intersections and interchanges that State Route 99 has, whether it's connecting to a federal interstate, such as I-5, or to the countless state highways that cross the Valley, provide critical connections to the high desert, to Los Angeles, the coast and the Bay Area, and the northern part of the state, as well as to the Tahoe and Nevada parts of the region as well. Next. In many cases, mirroring the state highways, we see a robust rail network, which serves both passenger and freight rail, very much anchored by Union Pacific, Burlington Northern Santa Fe, and then in California's Amtrak San Joaquin service, but also complemented by a number of short haul freight railroads as well that operate in the Valley. It's also critically one of the only ways by rail to reach the high desert in Southern California in the state, and also onwards north to Oregon and to the Bay Area. Next. And finally, we see a number of different transit agencies providing service along different segments of State Route 99. As you can see here, we have almost a dozen operators that provide service along this long segment of State Route 99. And in addition to that, private bus operators also provide service, in some cases connecting with the Amtrak San Joaquins, in other cases, in the case of Greyhound or Flixbus, providing longer routes and through routes, serving the communities and making some of the longer trips along State Route 99 as well. Next slide. Another key part of understanding the corridor is to really see what the daily travel and trip patterns are along the length of the corridor. we see, in looking at the length of the corridor, in some cases, there's over 200,000 vehicles per day on some segments. That dips down closer to 60,000 on other segments as well. Next. When we zoom in a little bit further, looking at the south, we see heavier volumes heading into Bakersfield and Fresno, and also heading south towards the Interstate 5 and the likely connections to 58 among other state highways. Next. In the northern segment, we see high volumes with the Sacramento region seeing growth over 200, total trips of over 200,000 per day, but also heavy traffic between Turlock and Stockton, especially in that area heading into 205 and 505, those state highways that lead into those routes as well. Next slide. As noted previously in the slides, the state freight plan names State Route 99 as a critically important corridor in the state. This corridor and the adjoining counties and agricultural districts produce a quarter of the nation's food that's produced, with 25 million tons of goods traveling between Bakersfield and Sacramento. Those are farm products, food and beverage products, which includes a large share of milk, and various manufactured goods as well, on their way in many cases to the ports and to the rest of the country. But it's also understood that in particular for those goods that do move by truck, those heavy truck volumes also may lead to higher emissions, which is why Senate Bill 671, which is the Clean Freight Corridor Initiative, named this as one of its 6 corridors to advance clean freight in the future. And again, as noted previously on the rail network, it's also the only north-south freight rail corridor in the state, which also presents an opportunity to continue to shift goods that are traveling by truck to rail to minimize impacts along the corridor from trucks. And as noted here, we can see where those truck volumes are the heaviest. In many cases, these are leading to and from some of the state's largest logistics centers and warehousing hubs that we see along the corridor in and around the Tracy area and sections of I-5 and 99 there, but also reflecting the high levels of commerce and agriculture around Fresno and north and south of Bakersfield as well. These are some of the absolute highest truck volumes in the state once you move a little distance away from some of the largest ports in Southern California and Northern California, for perspective. With that, gonna hand it back to Georgina to tell us about our next question.
Okay, so for our next polling question, if we could go ahead and bring up the question, there we go. What are the top 2 challenges that you have traveling on or across State Route 99 in your community? So again, you're going to provide 2 answers. 1, development of new homes, jobs, and infrastructure impacting trips. High traffic volumes and congestion is number 2. 3, high volumes of truck traffic and goods movement. 4, unsafe roadways or intersections. And 5, do I have alternatives to driving by car?
All right, we'll leave it open for about 20-30 seconds while everyone gets their answers in. I guess, again, we're looking for your 2 challenges traveling across SR 99.
Okay.
All right, let me share the results.
Okay, so coming in at first, high traffic volumes and congestion, followed by a tie between high volumes of truck traffic and goods movement. And do I have alternatives to driving by car? And then next in line, unsafe roadways or intersections, and 0 answers for development of new homes, jobs, and infrastructure impacting trips. Great, thank you so much for your input. Next slide, please. Back to Doug. Solutions.
Indeed. All right. The last segment you have to hear from me tonight. But I think this is where we kind of go from thinking about what are some of your top concerns and switching into what are some of your ideas to tackle those. So with that, I think the first place we're going to start is by looking at some of the past studies that have already been completed across the state and in the corridor, specifically trying to tackle many of the issues already named. Those studies address and cover things like development of inland port facilities to move more truck trips to rail, the growth and expansion of high-speed rail and the state's rail service, county transportation plans as well, and transit plans as well. If you can excuse me for a quick second. Thanks, everybody. I mean, just in case anybody couldn't quite hear, we have a variety of plans that have already been completed to try and tackle many of the issues that we've already identified, but also are really curious to hear what you think are our priorities and ideas to address challenges we've talked about tonight, or other challenges that you are thinking about for you, your family, and your colleagues as you travel in the corridor. We seek to build upon local and state plans that have been completed, no doubt with input from many of you, I bet, whether at that city level, working with your transit agency, or perhaps in a county plan as well. Next. The goal in looking at developing a range of solutions is to really start to build a layered approach to tackle different challenges that the corridor and its travelers face. So those will range across a variety of modes, right? From freight challenges, transit, bike and ped, and look to build a robust set of solutions to advance in the future. And this is where we are really keen to hear from you. And I'll hand it over to Georgina to lead us through this final question.
Thanks, Doug. Yes, you're going to be providing your answers to this question in the chat box. So we're ready to take you through this question. The question is, what suggestions do you have? What do you believe are the best solutions to address the very many challenges that we have out there with State Route 99? Some examples are included in this slide. Other examples include new freeway connectors, widening bridges, connecting or constructing new bus stops along adjacent streets and roads along State Route 99, roundabouts on adjacent or connecting streets and roads, new and expanded multimodal centers, including bus, rail, and bike and pedestrian facilities, bike lanes, trails, and pedestrian facilities, as well as many other solutions. So if you could give us what you believe are some great solutions to address some of the challenges that you know are out there. And if the more you can be very specific, the better off we're going to be able to understand what some of those challenges and those solutions are specific to your community. So if you could be very specific about where the locations are, if at all possible. Of course, we're looking for general answers as well. So please provide your solutions and your challenges as well in the chat box. And we'll leave this open for a while to give you plenty of time to do that. We will be including all of your answers or all of your suggestions in a synopsis report once all of these sessions have concluded, which tonight is the last one. So we'll start on that synopsis report in the next week or so. And so all of your comments will be incorporated into that synopsis report. So it's important that we hear from you. Great, thank you, Bruce. That same comment has come up on other sessions. Great. That water meters. Thank you, Nathan. Park and ride areas. Thank you, Amanda. If you know of any intersections adjacent to the freeway that you're concerned about, please list those. Might have some safety issues or some connection issues to the state route.
Thanks, Amanda, for being specific about, you know, the needing those park and ride lots in Stanislaus County in particular. That's helpful. Don't be shy.
Right. Thank you for your comment, Bruce.
Indeed. Indeed.
Well, thank you, Nathan. Very specific. Thank you, Jose. Good comments, guys. You're doing well. Very well. So you will have another 15 minutes or so to continue to provide your list of challenges and solutions. And so we'll go ahead and move on to the next slide, please. So what happens next? Next slide, please. There are a total of 8 meetings in this round, as Doug mentioned previously. We've completed all of them with this final meeting tonight. Following this series of community events and forums, we will thoroughly review the feedback that you've provided, the great feedback from tonight's meeting, as well as from all of the other sessions. And then we'll create an outreach report or a synopsis report. Next slide, please. As you can see on the slide, Doug brought this up previously. It shows the 4 major tasks related to this study. The first 2, as a result of us completing these sessions tonight, are complete. The next 2 that still need to be done as we move forward include identifying those solutions. So Doug and his staff will be focused on identifying solutions, and we'll come back to you with some recommendations in winter 2025, 2024-25. The final task will be to develop the implementation plan. The next slide just provides the same information in Spanish. We'll just hold here for a few seconds. Okay, next slide, please. If you have other questions or you think of other comments, other solutions, other challenges that you would like for us to know about after tonight's session, if you could please call the hotline number at 559-272-4561, or you can email us at sr99cmcp@dot.ca.gov, as shown on the slide before you. Please follow directions when you are using the hotline, and we will return your call or send a response to your email within 3 working days. Regarding the information and the videos that have been presented to you tonight, as well as the outreach report that I spoke of, we will follow up with an email to let you know when and where to find those materials. They will be available. Next slide, please. We do have about 12 minutes available, Doug, if you'd like to open it up to let them discuss, tell us verbally what some of those challenges and solutions might be, or other comments that they have related to SR 99.
Sure, we've got a couple minutes left. We do want to make sure we get your comments in writing. But if you have anything to add that you, in addition to what you've written, please fire away.
Yes.
Or you can just raise your hand in the toolbar and we can unmute you, just since the meeting's all locked.
Great. So Doug, there was a question from Bruce.
I don't know that I'm the best person to speak in detail to every improvement along this segment of the corridor. Actually, I wonder if Lynn or anybody else from Caltrans would be in a better position to provide that update, recognizing there's a lot of projects given the length of the study area and even just in the counties named.
Alec?
Hi, Bruce. We can, this is Alec Kimmel from Caltrans District 6. I'm the system planning branch chief there. For speaking for Tulare and Madera, we, as Doug said, there's a few projects that are going on 99, and I would need to follow up with our project managers for those projects to get schedule updates, but we can certainly get you that information.
Lynn, since you're representing Merced County?
Yeah, same here. We'd have to get an updated schedule.
Okay, sounds great. Hope that helps, Bruce. Thank you, Nathan. Good night. Have a great evening. Thank you, Bruce. Can we go back to the previous slide just to leave that hotline number and email address up? There we go. Great. Thank you. Great comment, Amanda. Very specific. Great. Flooding. Yeah. A lot of that this last winter and the winter before. Thank you. It's a question from Jose regarding electric chargers, whether or not they've been started along the rest areas. I'm not sure if Alec or Lynn know the answer to that question.
I believe we've been looking at installing some of those in state roadside rest areas in District 6. And it may interest those who are on the call to know that State Route 99 has had for the past few years what's called an alternate fuel corridor status per FHWA. So it's designated and identified as a corridor where we'll be looking at opportunities to provide alternate fuel infrastructure.
Great information. Great. Thank you. So Jose's asking if there's an estimated date on when State Route 99 will become a 3-lane in both directions. Three-lane freeway in both directions. Alec or Lynn?
Yeah, that hasn't been a top priority for our local agencies. There are other projects that are funded, and we still don't have the funds to put in another lane in the areas where it's still 2 lanes. But we're working on it, and this document is going to probably make a good proposal for adding those quite possibly as managed lanes.
Great, thank you, Lynn. We have about 2 minutes left to get your great comments. Your comments have been wonderful so far. So keep it up. Thank you, Jose. So thank you again, everyone, for taking the time out of your evening to attend this important event. Hope you gained a great deal of information about the State Route 99 CMCP. Your input is very much appreciated, and all of your comments will be taken into consideration as we move forward with this planning study. Good night, everyone, and thank you so much. Be careful out there. Thank you.